everybody, Dirty Dan here. The snow has arrived. Today, we're talking about my new truck. This is the Iron Duke, and we're making some scrapyard runs today. I figured this is the perfect opportunity to go for a drive, talk about the truck. Oh, okay, well those aren't really wipers. Oh, there they go. Come on. Ah! No, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough. Stop. Is the squirter gonna go? Oh, she's trying. She's trying. We're not off to a great start. All right, we are en route now. So this, as mentioned before, this is the Iron Duke. I bought this truck about, I do want to say 5-6 months ago now. I bought it from up north from a guy who had it in his backyard, and initially I think he wanted $1,600 for this truck, and I didn't pay a whole lot less, but I paid a little bit less than that. I ended up paying, I think, $1,400 for this, and that was everything. But the problem was, this thing was in pretty bad shape when I first bought it. The bed wasn't on it. I mean, it had just countless issues. But the thing was, it did run and drive. We drove it up onto the trailer even. Now, me and my best friend, Jake, we went up to go pick this truck up, and we rented a U-Haul trailer. We took his F1 Shitty, as we call it. So this truck has the infamous GM Iron Duke 2.5 4-cylinder power plant, and it's backed by a 5-speed transmission. It has hydraulic clutch, manual brakes, manual steering. This truck has absolutely no options. It's as bare bones as you could possibly get it. It's really nice. You're in a lot of control when you're driving this thing. It's a little bit gutless. Like, my foot's pretty much on the floor right now. Granted, we are a little loaded, but this thing makes, like, I think 92 horsepower. It's not a whole lot. At least not a lot for a pickup truck. But the way that it's geared, this thing does actually get you around pretty good. Starting and stopping, it's pretty slow. But once you get up into about 3rd and 4th, I mean, this thing boogies around pretty good. So when I first bought this truck, the biggest issue is that this thing leaked gas absolutely everywhere. The tank needed replaced, the sending unit needed replaced, and at first I thought the gas lines were still good, but as soon as I fired it up for the first time with the new sending unit, the new tank and everything, it sprayed gas all over the place. There was pinholes all through the old line. So I ended up having to run completely new fuel lines, that's a return line, a vent, it's everything. On top of that, this thing needed brakes all the way around. It needed axle seals in the rear. It needed basically everything. Another big thing when I bought this truck is that the frontmost cab mounts were completely gone. There was no floor, there was no mount, there was no nothing left. They had just cut the floors out, left the mounts out, and just pop riveted new floors on, which is not the right way to do it. The cab was actually sitting so low that the driver's door wouldn't close. It physically would not close all the way. And it was pretty bad. So I went through, I cut it all back out, and I did it the right way. And the way that they should have done it in the first place. So on top of the fact that this thing had some pretty heavy rust damage to the cab, there was actually a small section of one of the rear frame cross members that was missing a chunk out of it, basically. So I had to cut out that section, weld some new metal in, strengthen it back up. So this thing actually, it came on Steelies, and as much as I like Steelies, I've had this set of 15-inch Kragers laying around for like 2 years now, and I figured that they would look perfect on this. And in my opinion, it kind of makes the look of the truck. The story that I got with the truck was the guy that I bought it from, he knew somebody in town that had this, and he was driving it around with no clutch at all. So he ended up putting a new master, a new clutch line, new slave cylinder, a new clutch. He put all new components in it, and he even showed me the old clutch. I mean, it was toast, you know. And apart from that, he had big plans for this, you know. He had all kind of parts that he wanted to throw on this thing, but he never got around to it. And unfortunately, my genius completely forgot to grab the parts off of him as I was leaving. I put some 1030 in it. This calls for 530, but a little bit of extra viscosity will help out this whole motor. It's got a little bit of a top end light tick, but I mean, these motors all made noise, so it's not like it's a detrimental thing. I've been driving it around ever since it had that noise, and it only does it when it gets hot, so it means, I mean, it's a very minor thing. If I really wanted to tear this motor apart and go in and fix that, I could, but I don't really see a point to that. And I'm a big believer in the saying that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Probably the biggest thing for me about this truck was the fact that it has the 5-speed. The 5-speed is what really makes this truck. Driving this around with an automatic, I've never driven one personally, but I feel like it wouldn't even be the same vehicle. Now, granted, I've driven a more modern Ranger with the 2.5 in it that has the same 5-speed. That one makes about, I think, 150, and maybe a little less than that, but that thing boogies around a little better. It's got a lot more low-end power, which is kind of a big deal, but at the same time, I mean, you learn how to work this 5-speed, this thing runs pretty damn good, and it'll get you where you want to go. Another thing I really love about this truck is just how bare bones it is. It has absolutely no options. This was basically what you bought if you needed a truck just to go to work in, just to do your job with. There's no power windows, there's no AC, there's actually floor vents. I don't know if some of you have heard of those. There's a vent right down here to the left of my foot, and you pull those open, it channels air up from the road into the cab. And I'll tell you what, I had this thing in summer, them things work damn good. It doesn't even have a wiper delay. There's low, and then there's high. That's all you get. There's no variable delay. There's no stupid stuff to break. All right, we made it back. Now it's time to do it all over again. Let's do a little bit of a walk around tour. When I got this, had a different hood on it. The guy gave me this hood. The grill is busted. You can see the Kragers I put on. They've gotten a little weathered since they've been on there a little while. Brand new tires. I actually mounted those tires myself. I bought them, mounted them, cleaned up the rims, everything. You could see new gas tank in there. The bed. There was a lot of body work too that really went into this. The bed, the wheel wells needed done. There's a big spot right here. The rockers were pretty bad. You know, this thing had very little rocker material in it. Not even on just that side, on both sides. This truck initially used to be gray. That gray right there. And it would have been gray with a black interior. And you can see it has the bench seat. That carpet, or the mat that's in there, that I actually got from the junkyard for, I don't know, like 10 bucks. And it's like one of the nicest parts of the truck. It had no weather stripping. I mean, this thing was totally beat when I bought it. Iron City! Iron City, baby! I don't even drink beer. What did this truck really cost me to build? Well, it's in the neighborhood of about $3 grand. But realistically, when you think about it, A new truck cost, like, I think I want to say in the neighborhood about 50 grand, you know, all in all. And for what I paid, what I have in this thing's fantastic. You know, I really come to love it. It's a great little cruiser. It's a great work truck. It's a great all-around truck. You know, I mean, I drive it to work every day. I went to Wisconsin in it. I do scrap runs with it. And, you know, there are some disadvantages. Like, it's definitely more difficult to get certain things in the back of this truck because it's smaller. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's totally possible. You just got to have some ingenuity up your sleeve. Okay. So, now, we're on the last load, and this is going to be all the shredder stuff. This is going to be the last load of the day. This is all the shredder. Got a couple furnaces. You know, it's all the stupid stuff. Hold that in. Let's go. So, some closing thoughts for this video. I'm really happy with this truck. I think that this was probably one of my best buys in a while. You know, at first, I wasn't super happy spending all kinds of money in it, but now that I've been driving this thing for a while, I mean, it was all worth it. $3,000 is nothing for a running, driving, a vehicle of any sorts nowadays. So for what this thing is, I'm pretty happy with that price. You know, this truck is just a fantastic truck. You know, it does everything that you need out of a small pickup truck. You know, it'll haul whatever you want to haul, it'll go wherever you want to go, and it'll get you there. You know, and it won't break down. I proved that driving to Wisconsin in this thing. That was just an insane road trip. I mean, my whole shop and everybody was like, dude, you're crazy. Like, you're never going to make it. But lo and behold, Iron Duke made it, no issues. Which really goes to show you, you know, just how things were built back in the day. And I really wish sometimes that we could go back to a point where everything was built like this. And that's exactly why I put the money into these trucks. You know, they'll never make them again. So, might as well put the money into these ones and enjoy them while they're still out there, you know. Because they really are fun. If you're ever looking to get into a small pickup truck or a mini truck, these are a fantastic fit. They're 100% well worth your money. Even if you want to get a second gen, get a later one. Any S10, any S10 you can get your hands on. They're fantastic little trucks, and I really love them. But I want to thank you guys for watching. That's everything for the scrapyard today. Thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out with me on this one, and see you in the next one.